Good morning and welcome to Alston, where I'll be leaving the final leg of my journey today to Greenhead, if I make it. A couple of problems yesterday with the old knees. Lots and lots of painkillers required, usually a bad sign. So the plan today to mitigate that, as I just follow this section of the Pennine Way, is to go to the railway station in Alston and join the South Tyndale Trail that parallels the Pennine Way. So an easier gradient for my knees. So I'll still be doing the same distance, but some of it will not be along the Pennine Way as such. So the railway station in parts can look a bit incongruous. It's got normal sized platforms, which you'll see in a minute, but it's narrow gauge. So it was the it was the Halt Whistle to Alston railway line, part of the main network till the 50s. That was all cut, and now it's being restored as a heritage railway site, but narrow gauge. Well, there you go, like the guy was saying. Dave there was chatting to, didn't film him, not really polite, is it? It's all volunteer now. They do 5 miles down the road, down the line to Slaggyford. They turn around, have a bite to eat, come back, and that's about 45 minutes to an hour. Rather than the Pennine Way for the last bit, I am going to follow this because, like I say, easier on the knees on my 8th day. And still lots to see here. Look at this. So the hostel where I stayed is one of the independent hostels. There'll be a link at the bottom of this video connecting you to their website. Fantastic. Used to be with the YHA, now what they call Enterprise Hostel. It's got the feel of it. It's sort of utilitarian but cosy, if you get me. And I have to say, I'll be looking into that. So it's one of the standout places of accommodation on the route. Tan Hill, bunk room, a low point. Alston Independent Hostel, very much thumbs up. But anyway, the gentleman there was telling me at the hostel that this is the South Tyndale Trail. So it's where the Pennine Way would probably be if the Pennine Way had been established in the last 20 years. That's how long this has been here. So it rolls actually just alongside through the fields just over there. But I figured the purists amongst you will go, "Ooh, no, shouldn't have done that." But my knees are going, yes, I should do this. So it's a case of finishing or not, and I want to finish. I'll be rejoining the Pennine Way later. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy the gradients and the views alongside this little heritage railway plonked out here just beyond the edge of the Pennines. It's wonderful. It's something often frequently forgotten, but little places like this, heritage railways, dotted all over the UK, are often the trackside wildlife havens for flora and fauna, because other than a few walkers coming up and down, this place is not busy. There's nothing to disturb them, no noise, no pollution. There's some fantastic views from these old viaducts, and you can look here, the old county of Cumberland, where it meets Northumberland. So we're back in Northumberland after several weeks. No noise other than the wildlife. Trees either side of me, and it is just simply a healing, calming, restorative experience at the end of a very, very difficult few days. In fact, I'm going to tell you a little about this railway coming up, but I'd just like to reiterate, if you do come this way, Pennine Way to Greenhead, and you get the chance to come down here instead of up and down when you're 10, 11, 12 days in, It's a diversion worth taking, not cheating. Well, wasn't that amazing? No, not thundering past like the Flying Scotsman or anything like that, but the smell of burning coal and the ground shaking as it goes, that was lovely. Talking of lovely, the Pennine Way, it winds down here and it comes along just next to this part of the track, and after looking at my map it seems like it sort of comes along and follows and winds away again, then comes back all the way down here, pretty much till we get to Slaggyford, then it goes up in the hills. But my plan, if I can manage it, is to get to Lamley, then rejoin it there, because we seem to be neighbours. The Pennine Way just there and me just here. So while the gradient's good, that's the plan. In fact, you can just see the sign for the Pennine Way just down there. Grab a cup of tea, my feet up. So, So the track's gone, but the way continues. I'm so close to the Pennine Way, just through the side of those trees there. I'm actually showing up as on course on my Garmin. So we'll see what happens. There's an option to rejoin it further on after a diversion across a Roman road, or before the viaduct at Lamley. I'm just going to keep going and see what happens. South Tyndale Trail. I think I'd definitely do this again. Well, after the railway line comes to an end, a little bit of forest back there, a bit of a copse, the skies are really opened out. And again, the way the map just parallels along that field through there, past the sheep and over that dry stone wall. And like I said earlier, for the purists out there, no, I'm not doing it properly, but I'm doing it. This is the only way we're going to be able to finish it after the palaver of yesterday. So you might feel the same way if you come this way too. You get 7 days into it and you feel, gosh, physically this is proving too much. I found it too much, and I have to be honest, we'll have some feedback at the end, but like I said, I can't do it unsupported. Carrying just a day sack is the way forward for me, but I've been on better adventures, long distance routes. So as you might see in any guidebook you've read about this part, it is a trackless, joyless bog is all I can say for it, and all you can do to get through it is to keep going. I'm lucky to have Jim because misery loves company. So we'll get through it together. Makes the whole experience a bit better. But in the meantime, if you're planning to come this way, pack plenty of these and expect rain on this section. But every step is a step closer to finishing, isn't it, Jim? See? There you go. I'll see you when we're off the moors. So there we go. Greenhead.
Journey's end.
Journey's end at Greenhead, 120 miles later. Thanks to Jim.
Thanks to you, AJ.
And thanks to Helen, I'll be seeing in a minute. That's it, Journey's end. Let's see if we can find this hotel thing. I settled for a barn and a kick up the arse. So there we go. Malham to Greenhead, 120 miles across 7 days of the Pennine Way. Not always sunny, not always lovely, but always a challenge. So, if you don't mind, I'm going to call it a day, put my feet up after a hot shower and get a cup of tea. Thanks for sticking with me. If you're going to do it, if the answer is a yes, I'm going to do it, I couldn't have done it without support. I set out with a 50-litre rucksack with the aim of supporting myself. After 4 days of the 8, I decided I needed some help. So I got the missus to come. A day sack, clean boots, etc. The biggest hindrance I think you've got is because the distances between places, you can't resupply in some places. And if you're going to use a courier service, that's all very well. When you get to where you're staying, where are you going to resupply? You can't break that journey in half because, let's say Dufton to Alston. That's a long way, 122 miles. The routes are frequently 21, 22, 19, 18, 17 miles. But the 20, 21 miles over places like Great Dun Fell and Cross Fell, they're very, very challenging, very punishing and uncomfortable on the way down. You will find if you do the route, once you come in, challenging weather, even if it's not, because hot weather is a challenge in itself, particularly with the distance, you will find that all you'll want to do is get something to eat, hang stuff up if you can to try and get it dry for the next day. Really, really difficult when you come through a swamp with your boots, and then just get yourself into bed. And it's that, get up, eat, walk, eating snacks, drinking what water you can, mile after mile after mile after mile, pounding on your body. You get where you're going, it's the relief, you get something to eat and you are out of it. It's that day after day. 8 days of that. I'd say for myself, about 5 days in, the end of the 5th day, I didn't want to continue. And I've never said that, ever, on any trail, any hike, ever. Even in the bad weather, you want to keep going. And that last 3 or 4 miles was probably the lowest point. It was a swamp, it was knee deep, water in your boots, it'd been raining for 6 hours, and if you've watched the video you see how wet it was. But we kept going because we were smiling, because there was a bit of company, thanks Jim, and it got us over the finishing line. But if you'd spent 3, 4, 5 days like that on your own with your head down, and the rain down the back of your neck, the wind in your face, and the sun when it comes out giving you sunburn, you probably wouldn't feel the same. Across the whole journey, I downloaded all the GPX routes I found on Komoot into here from a route a chap had actually done. So thanks to him, it gave me a good turn-by-turn notification as I went through country lanes and out on the fells and so forth. But you're going to need a map and know how to use it, several maps maybe, but definitely I'd recommend a Garmin GPS device. Did I enjoy the Pennine Way? A good question, one of the first you'll probably ask. Yes and no. As I set off from Malham, I described it as magical. The weather was perfect, the terrain was good with your wildflower meadows, and the distance itself was achievable. Because I didn't do the whole bit, I just did about 120, 130 miles. There's a lot of it I didn't enjoy, and I think a lot of it goes back to it's the weather. On top of that is the distance, you can't break it. And if you factor in the terrain and the multiple days, there are days when you're not going to enjoy it and you're allowed not to. Would I do it again? No, is my short answer. It's more nuanced than that. There were sections I loved, from Middleton in Teesdale up to Dufton. Absolutely lovely. Long but lovely, because the terrain wasn't as challenging. Malham to Horton, absolutely I'd do it again. But generally, would I tackle the Pennine Way again? No, no part of it. But ultimately, if you feel you're up to it and you're going to benefit from being open skies hour after hour on your own, day after day, maybe the Pennine Way is for you. That's for you to decide. And that's exactly what I set out to discover for me. I found maybe it's not for me. Thanks for watching.